This is Outside the Round with Matt Burrill, a Raise Rowdy podcast.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Outside the Round with me, Matt Burrill. Today, a very special guest, a guy who I'm lucky enough to call a brother. A guy who I've gotten to know very well over the past few years working in the music business. He's involved with Peachtree Entertainment. He's a partner over there. He is the president of live events. He's a staple in the Southern music scene and now the nationwide music scene. It's our man, Shane Quick. Man, it's good to see you not at an event where we're all running around and working.
It was calm.
Yes.
Yeah, dude, you guys have been the best partners, and just being out on the road with friends, smoking a good cigar before the show. A lot of people wonder what do I even do, for a living at these shows. Most of my work's done way before the show ever happens, but when I have people like you there, it just makes it way better.
Yeah, man. And I remember my first experience, I think, with one of your events was Auburn Rodeo, and it would have been, I think it was 2021, so it was Morgan Wallen.
Wow.
Morgan Wallen Auburn Rodeo, and I was tour managing for Trey Lewis.
Wow.
That was my first event with you and Nathan.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
It was that, and then...
I remember y'all being there.
Yep, and then Rock the South.
I remember you being there.
Yes, sir. Running around selling hats and T-shirts, and that lineup was crazy. That was Morgan, and Parker was on that.
It was.
John Langston was on that. We were on that. And I remember going out to Sky Bar afterwards and just becoming a huge fan of Auburn, Alabama.
Man, that moment, that was bringing Morgan back.
Yeah, that was his first show back.
And then him coming out and playing on that piano, sand in my boots.
Yeah.
Man, what a moment that was. The crowd, I've never heard a crowd so loud in my life. But man, that was a special night, and really, I think put Auburn Rodeo had been around since the 70s. Most people don't know that, but that moment with Morgan really took the event to a whole nother level.
Yeah, I remember having goosebumps, and just as soon as the lights went on, and that he's just up there at the piano, and I mean that had to be, I don't even know how many thousands of people.
Yeah, there were 20 plus 25,000, and we sold it all in like an hour.
Yeah,
so we could have done 100,000 people if we had the space for it. But I remember two things specifically from that day. One, that was a very special moment with Morgan, and two, just how good looking Parker McCollum is.
Yeah, he's chiseled, man.
Dude, I felt so insecure. He walked by, had this white T-shirt on, his chain like he always has, and I thought, holy shit, that's a good looking dude.
Yeah.
And I'm the straightest guy you're ever gonna find, but Parker, he has an incredible presence about him. But man, that lineup was stacked. Morgan, like I said, I don't know how long it had been since he had, been out. And that was his first show back, but the people lost their minds. We had him down in Mobile, we had him at Auburn, I think Rock the South that year as well.
Yeah.
So it was just it was a special time, man. And and that was our first time meeting you, and hopefully we can have more and more massive nights like that.
Dude, we have a lot of them coming up this year.
We do.
2026. I mean, looking back on 2025, that was a huge year for you guys.
It was.
Peachtree's always had a history of being big in the Southeast and being on the next acts. You talk about the Morgans, the Luke Combs, the more recently the Ella Langleys, the Gavin Adcocks, folks like that. But now to have a footprint nationwide and be going all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, talk about how big of a year 2025 was for you, Nathan, Bradley, the rest of the team.
It's big. Bradley, who started Peachtree, has always had his hands on artists before anyone else knew who they were.
Yeah.
He's an early guy. Always has been, and I would say he has the best ears in country music.
I would agree with that.
Just, any new artist you can think of, he could tell, this is where they went to high school, or this is the first venue they've played in, or whatever. And then there's this whole family of people at Peachtree that grew up under Bradley. I was able to do that very similarly in the faith-based world, with Premier Productions for a long time.
Yeah.
Raising up, bands like Hillsong and Casting Crowns and First on Lauren Daigle and so many. But he and I were very similar that way, that we were early believers, early adopters, and visionaries, and it's actually Austin Neal that put us together and said, he knew both of us well, and it's like, you guys should know each other. And if it wasn't for Austin really putting us together, we never would have came together and created Peachtree as we know it today.
Yeah.
But yeah, 2025 was a big, big year. Probably one of the biggest, investments for a brand new, team of people coming together in the live event space. I still can't believe we risked what we risked, to launch that many new festivals.
Yeah.
In a season where a lot of people are walking away from the festival industry. A lot of people are going towards stadium business, but we just believe in festivals. We believe that it's just part of who we are. We think, festivals will always be around. They've been around for thousands of years. People coming together in a field to enjoy music is innately part of us.
Yeah.
And it's not a fad. It's not a new idea. It's an old idea. The artists come and go, right? I mean, there's new artists that come up, and it's new faces. But the idea of all coming out in the field and having these special nights together is something that we live for.
Yeah.
And we're doubling down on, man, and growing even more this year and next year. There's no one growing in the festival space in the entire world more than Peachtree is.
Yeah, man. And you talk about how important festivals are, and Rock the South is another one that's been a huge thing for you in particular. And going back to how it originated as a benefit for your local community down there in Coleman and the Tornadoes, and bringing people together for a cause to enjoy music in unison one weekend in the summertime, and to see how that has evolved now 15 years later.
I know, man. And then now it's become Rock the South is still a thing, but now we have this sister festival, Rock the Country, you know, and but yeah, the hometown feel, the roots of Rock the South is definitely special to me. A tornado hits my hometown, an F4 tornado, 2011 comes walking right through my downtown and tore up our city. And the city asked me, for years I had been doing a Christian music festival there in Coleman, and they knew I was the event guy.
Yeah.
So they're like, hey, we need to bring people together. Literally just a few days after the tornado, they asked me to do something free out in a field where people can come together and unify. We've been helping each other. It's people helping people at a level like we've never seen before in our community. They're sawing logs off of houses. They're feeding people. They're me and my friends, we were distributing ice.
Wow.
That was the thing we did for 2 weeks, to get ice to people who needed to put ice on their medication even. You never know what really makes a community run until something like this happens.
Yeah.
But the city asked me to help put together a church service. And because the churches were keeping everything going, really, they were all the Catholics and the Baptists were helping each other, for the first time.
That's a big deal in a community in Alabama,
for
man.
sure. And in the grocery stores, they realize they're going to lose all this food, so they're just giving it away. It was a very special time. But the city asked me to bring everybody together that Sunday. And so I called some friends up north that you couldn't find a generator in the South anywhere. So I called some friends from Indianapolis that had been providing, staging and different festival things for me for years. And we piecemealed all this stuff together. Brought Casting Crowns in, a band that I really started my career with. They were just so happened to be driving through Alabama from one stop to the next.
Wow.
And said they were willing to stop in. We had 20,000 people show up at this first 5 days after the tornadoes. And we raised enough money to rebuild the Red Cross building that had gotten tore down in the middle of the tornado. And that was really the roots. At that time we had no idea that we'd eventually do something the next year, but that was really the beginning and the foundation of Rock the South. And so just a few months later, the city comes up and says, hey, what if we did something next year to kind of raise money and awareness and whatever to help the community? And I said, sure, let's figure something out. And that really was the beginning of Rock the South. And now, 15 years later, seeing the economic impact year after year after year, just waves of 10 to $20 million of impact on our community every single year. Our roads are better, our parks are better, our schools are better, city services are better, the downtown's thriving. Now the city's known for doing events, have one of the biggest Christmas events in the nation, the Christ Crindle Market, they call it, and there's 500,000 people went through that thing this Christmas.
To Coleman, Alabama.
Through our, and what was inspired by Rock the South. And so, yeah, it really does, it goes deep with us. And so to take that festival we had Kid Rock go play it in I think 2018. He came through the festival and loved it, and it's like, man, there's something special about this event. And just a few years later, his agent Joey Lee and I got together, and we were talking, dreaming. Could we take this idea, this Rock the South idea, nationwide? And so he connected the dots, put Bob and I together, and next thing you know, we're doing these Rock the South inspired events all over the country called Rock the Country.
Yeah, and you've rotated different markets. This year we're going to 7 of them. We're going around the 7 places. And some where you've built that community, like Ashland, Kentucky, I think of Ocala, Florida is a huge one for you guys. This year going all the way up to New York, going back to South Dakota, going to Hastings, Michigan. And you're getting to give those communities what you got to experience back in Coleman.
In my hometown.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're seeing big impact. I mean, yeah, for one, it's like for these young people that are there, like, can you believe that Jelly Roll or any artist that we're bringing, can you believe they're playing our hometown?
Yeah.
Riley Green, can you believe he's playing this show, or Ella, whoever, in this small town America? Which I feel like is the best thing we have to offer is our small towns.
Yeah.
Because there's just the way they welcome people from all over the country, and the showing something new and unique. And I don't know, man. I really it's harder to do a big huge festival in a small town because they just don't have the services.
Logistics are different, man.
Logistics are tough.
Yeah.
But once you get them there, once you get the people there, it really is special, and they do have something to offer. Something unique to offer all these people that are showing up from all over the country.
Yeah, man, I feel like the state of where the world is right now and where this country is right now, there's nothing people crave more than that live experience. Like AI is coming and doing all of its thing, but you can't emulate and recreate that live experience, that in-person feeling where you come from that worship background where it's like you go to a Jelly Roll show, you go see an Aldine, you go see a Bob, like any of those guys. It is a worshiping thing where you have thousands of people, tens of thousands of people in a field in a small town all together, unified,
agreeing on something.
Yes,
which is rare in our day and age for everyone to have something to agree on.
Yeah,
that's what makes going to a football game so special. We all agree we're either for this team or against this team, and it's powerful. Yeah, you're right. AI will never replace that. Because the bodies and the people being there, is special, and we live for that, man. It's we see powerful things happen. We're seeing cities, raise money to make impact. We're seeing people meet each other for the first time and get married, months or weeks later. In some cases, the next day. We've seen some crazy things at these shows, but primarily it has been a wildly positive experience. The people it's definitely a great crowd of people there for the right reasons, to have fun and, forget about work for a minute.
Yeah, amen to that. And it's funny, too, like another throwback thing. My first experience as a touring guy was at a Peachtree show. It was at the old Sidetracks in Huntsville, Alabama.
Wow.
With Bradley and T-Train when I was slinging hats and T-shirts for Muscadine Bloodline, who are playing the rodeo this year, which is going to be awesome.
That's full circle.
Yeah, it's incredibly full circle. I can't wait, man. It's going to be a fun time, as always, down there in Opelika. But it's the music scene that comes out of the Southeast, whether it's country, whether it's rock, whether it's blues, or whether it's in that Christian worship world. Yeah. Like, there's just so much of it. And I feel like Peachtree's always kind of been at the forefront of it. And coming from New York, like, we have a lot of cool things that happen up there. Sure. It's great, but there's just the scene of artists and acts that come out of Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi. Like, live music is just ingrained in the water for you guys.
It's in the water. For sure. If you've ever been to the Clarksdale, Mississippi, in the middle of nowhere, right off the banks of the Mississippi, that they produced Muddy Waters and Ike Turner and Morgan Freeman, out of the city of 2,000 or 3,000, 4,000 people, and there's little small towns like that throughout Georgia and Alabama. Looking at a little small suburb of Montgomery, Alabama, put out this girl named Ella Langley, and it's I don't know what it is. They definitely it comes with an authenticity. These small towns, it comes with an authenticity where I think people are rooting for them. And they want to see them succeed. And we work so hard to get out of our small towns, but then we end up kind of going back in some kind of ways, or living in a special place in our life. But yeah, these little small southern towns, it has happened nationwide. It's not just a southern thing, but yeah, for sure, we've Peachtree has been able to be a part of that for a very long time. Seeing these guys come up, we love to see an artist be able to live out their dream.
Yeah.
And there's nothing like being in a room. Bradley talks about being, in a room with 50 people and seeing Luke Combs perform, and you just know this person is about to change the world. This person's about to pack out stadiums. It might be 10 years from now, but it's coming.
Yeah.
And to be able to have that wit and that understanding and that discernment for what's coming for these guys has been really the heart and soul of Peachtree.
Yeah.
So that's something that we pride ourselves on is being early adopters, early believers, and staying along with these artists, continuing to invest in them, give them a stage to be on. Any resource we have, whether it be an airplane or a stage or a tour or whatever we may have to help them get there on time and do their thing, get them to the Greek. That is what we're about.
Yeah.
And same thing with young promoters and people in the industry, and helping raise up young talent, the people that want to do this every day, show up with passion every day. That's why we exist at Peachtree.
Yeah, and you guys really do have a full service team and a great group of young buyers. Like, I think of like the Billies, and I think of the Anna Margarets, and I think of the teacher. Like, I think of the great folks that you guys have, not only booking the festival side of it, but running these tours, like the Hudson Westbrook stuff, the Alan Jackson stuff, like so many different things that get routed through not only the Southeast, but have expanded into other markets.
Totally.
What's it been like seeing that expansion and going out into the Midwest and the Northeast and getting really into Texas? It seems like a lot lately.
Yeah, I mean, there's nowhere we can't go. I mean, honestly, the hardest thing you can ever do is take an artist from 0 tickets to 1,000. Once it gets above that, really, I mean, it gets a whole lot easier. The artists start selling themselves. Honestly, we have tons of great buyers, AMK, Thomas, and Billy, and Dustin running his team. Man, we've got a lot of young talent that's doing great things. But yeah, for years we toured worldwide. A lot of the Christian bands we worked with, and Nathan was on the team with Alan Jackson doing shows all over the world. So it really. The experience is there, but a lot of cases, Peachtree just didn't have those opportunities, and now we're getting them. We just put up the Ella Langley tour, and it went clean, immediately. And
isn't that wild? Because you've known Ella forever. You've known Ella a long time. I've known Ella a long time. She's always wanted it and just has had the thing. But to see it where she is right now, like top of Billboard, it's crazy.
There's nothing better than seeing someone live out their dream and it come true. And she's just owned it, man. And every single day, as an artist, as a writer, as a person, you just see this person growing up right in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And the team that she has, and it's been fun to watch. Bradley, I'll never forget the first time Bradley told me about Ella, and the way he described how much he believed in her. And saw it coming, and who wouldn't believe him, because he'd been right so many other times.
Yeah.
He'd tell you he's not always been right. He's not batting 1,000, but he's probably he probably has a better batting average than most. I'd say that. But yeah, it really is. I'll never forget being in South Africa and hearing Hillsong United play for the very first time a song called Oceans that ended up just sweeping across the world. And Carrie Job, when she wrote a song that basically took churches through COVID. And her sending me that song and just listening to it on my, to hear things from the very beginning, is just, there's nothing like it. There's no amount of there's no amount of money, there's no amount of clout or awards that you can win that's better than seeing it from the very beginning and watch it grow and then just bloom out to like I said, like Ella's doing what we've been able to see many artists do, through the family at Peachtree.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about what Nick and I get to do with Raised Rowdy, is with these songwriters events and
100%.
Getting to see the folks from early on. And we've been here long enough that we've gotten to have some success stories of watching girls and guys and bands just go. Like, I think of first time we had Gavin and going to my first full band Gavin show down in Statesboro at the Blue Room.
Oh,
and
my.
what a time that was. And then seeing him just dominate festival stages, and you guys gave them those early festival opportunities too. Like,
Man, what a ride.
Gavin is, when I think of Rock the Country, I think of a crowd reacting to a guy like Gavin Adcock.
Man. Oh, 100%. It's for the last couple of years seeing Gavin just turn into this superstar.
Yeah.
You know, an incredible song after incredible song. Yeah, he adds to any festival in a big way, and it's hard to follow Gavin Adcock. You know,
Yeah.
if you're an artist, if you're not bringing everything, it'd be hard to follow Gavin.
Yeah.
But he's not having many people follow him anymore because he's closing out and headlining festivals.
Which is wild. Yeah, I remember being up in Bloomington last year at Tailgate and Tall Boys.
Yeah.
Which I can't wait for 2026, the big 10-year anniversary. It's
What a
be,
lineup.
What a lineup. I'm so glad that fourth day got announced too. And got to be full circle for you being an Alabama guy to have the Red Clay Boys
Straight.
and Muscadine on there. Like
Man.
some guys from Alabama going up and packing out a stage in Bloomington, Illinois.
Man.
But I remember last year, standing side stage, getting to do the hosting stuff, which thank you guys for those opportunities
course,
too.
man.
I love getting to do
You
that
guys are family
stuff
to
and-
us, man.
Yeah, and likewise. But I remember standing side stage watching the chaos that is a Gavin show. I remember looking to my right, and it was Co Wetzel standing there watching, being like, I gotta follow this, being just watching him and just getting to watch the openers that have the buzz, the earlier day acts, and then the headliners coming out to watch them. You know, like Brantley Gilbert's a great guy with that too, watching who's coming up and things
man.
like that. And your festivals have been a breeding ground for that.
They have been, man. You know, that is the goal. You know, with these early cards that, you know, I'll never forget having, you know, we had the very first Bailey Zimmerman show ever.
Yeah.
He played Rock the South at like 2 p.m. And his manager Simon told me one day, said, you know, that was his very first show.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. But even having, you know, I would say almost every slot of Rock the South has been played by Morgan Wallen, from the 2 p.m. to the, you know, he played like 4 times until he finally headlined it. You know, it didn't take long. The same thing with Riley. I'll never forget Riley Green opened Rock the South, and I'm backstage across the street because I remember the weather was, the rain was so bad we had to move our buses across the street to another parking lot.
Man, yeah.
I'm over at that bus. I'm standing there with Austin Neal and Riley, and I looked at Riley and said, you will headline this festival very soon. And just be able to make that proclamation and to see it happen. And once again, he's doing it for the second time, headlining, you know, this year at Rock the South. Another great lineup. But yeah, that's the heartbeat of Peachtree is to invest in young artists and help them become what they're doing. It's exactly what you guys are doing with Race Rowdy in your nights that you're doing, and it's fun. I pay attention to, you know, your post every single week about who's playing, you know, and
appreciate that.
because you guys have your finger on the pulse, giving people a stage. I just think there's something special about that. That's investment, man. That's
Yeah.
belief, that's faith in these guys. And at this part of their career, they need people believing in them and giving them those stages and those opportunities. And you guys are doing it. I think that's one reason why what you're doing is growing. And because you can't outgive, man.
No.
The more you give, the more you get back.
Yeah.
You know, and for us, I just believe that with Peachtree. You know, one of the reasons why we keep growing is we keep giving and we
Yeah.
keep believing. And we keep jumping on these guys early, these young artists early, and giving them these opportunities. And if we help enough people achieve their dreams and their goals, that's going to help us achieve our dreams and our goals.
Absolutely.
You have to give to get, man. And Peachtree has always been a giver. And that's one reason why I feel like Bradley has Ella Langley, man, is he helped the young careers of Riley Green and Luke Combs and so many other people very selflessly.
Yeah.
Just, hey, here, let me introduce you to these people with no strings attached. And then all of a sudden, look at Ella Langley.
Yeah.
You know, if you help enough people get, Zig Ziglar said it, you know, if you help enough people get what they want, you can have what you want.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're getting our opportunities at Peachtree because way before I came around and way before Nathan came around, Peachtree was giving to people and
Yeah.
investing in people. And we're keeping that going. That is the heartbeat and the spirit of Peachtree Entertainment is we're investors and believers. We want to be the first ones to do it before anyone else does. You know, and a lot of times we get that opportunity. So
Yeah.
I can get pretty excited about it.
Oh, as you should, man. If you can't get passionate about what you're doing the wrong thing.
100%.
And it took me a while to figure that out. It took me, I mean, I'm 31, so I guess I figured it out kind of early, but it's like it takes time and going through it, man. And your experiences of working within Premier and you also have some different ventures in the Coleman community,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you're an entrepreneur, and you just want to see your small town of Coleman, Alabama continue to grow and grow and grow for the better and grow in the right ways.
Totally,
You know?
man. Yeah, I think I own 18 different companies.
Wow.
You know, I'm an entrepreneur, and I always have been. I didn't know what it was when I was young. I just knew I wanted to build different things. You know, I sold when kids were pencil fighting in high school. I was bringing big boxes of pencils to school and selling them for 50 cents. You know, and I had a nickel in them, but I could sell them for 50 cents. You know, it was just innately in me. But yeah, from coffee houses and salons and, you know, real estate and things like that. I just love to invest in people and give people opportunities. Even with real estate, it's when I buy a building and rehab it, I'm bringing in, like an artist, you know, gets to write songs and do what they love. Someone that makes donuts or someone that cuts hair, it's the same thing. We're giving them a stage, giving them an opportunity to do the thing they love.
Yeah.
There's nothing better. And you know, when you go to a restaurant and the wait staff, and they're just, you know, they're doing what they love, right? You know that this server wants to be there and enjoys it. The food's better. When the chef comes out and you know that they care about that food and they care about that product, and they come out and they wanted to know how was the food, it's just better when people care and there's a passion there, you know. And to me, to work with people who really love doing what they do, I want to support those kind of people because it's the product's better, the songs are better, the food's better. When there's someone that enjoys what they do and brings full passion to it, there's nothing better than
The
that.
concert experience is better.
It is.
It lines up with your festivals and your
It
events
does.
as well, which I wanted to ask, how do you balance all that, man?
You
Like,
don't.
how do you balance it? I know you're running right now. We were talking before we got on here. You've been running a lot of miles. You're training for some distance running, some halves and some full marathons.
Marathons, yeah. You know, it's having really good friends, having a great team of people. You know, it's life always throws you curveballs. You know, times for all of us, everybody
Yeah.
goes through hard times, hard seasons. I've gone through one, but having great friends and a great support system, and just remembering where you came from. You know, I live in Coleman, Alabama. I live where I grew up. And there's been something special about that, you know. And when hard times come, you find that good people come along, you know. But yeah, with Peachtree, how do you balance it, man? You know, we just share the load and we help each other. And there's a culture, there's an incredible work culture at Peachtree. Every time we post a job, there's hundreds of applicants, you know,
Wow.
because of what's happening there and the way we invest in each other. And you know, even going to on-site and investing in mental health and, you know, helping, and that's a big part of it too. We're big believers in therapy and I don't know if you've heard of on-site or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Miles and those guys and what they've created there, and just creating a support system for each other. Because look, we're running 100 miles an hour. We are doing what we love. I will say, if you have a job that you hate and you're having to work every day and work overtime all the time, that will run you down. But with, you know, when you love what you do, it's a little bit easier. You can still make too much out of it, though, for sure. You know, you
Yeah.
can turn a good thing into a bad thing pretty easy. But yeah, staying physically fit and, you know, keeping our faith and our friends. And I will say too, it's important to have friends that aren't in the industry.
Bro, that is my like biggest thing. I have an amazing girlfriend, and she works in a completely different world than I do. And when I'm hanging out with her and her little girl, it's a nice escape
Yes.
from just the daily go. Because
100%.
when you're in this music business, when you're in this music game, you find yourself talking about it all the
All the
time,
time.
because you, especially here in Nashville or working like with your role within Peachtree and everything, like we're talking about music all the time, 24/7. So you got to have your breaks, man.
Got to have a break. I love living in a small town because, yeah, some of the people there we have interesting jobs.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have a normal 9 to 5.
No.
And so a lot of people ask about it, but you know, look, most of the people I hang out with are either police officers or they work at a factory, or you know, all different types of things. And you know, having that break, if all you do is come to Nashville and talk about this industry every single day, it will burn you out.
Yes.
Because it's not that important. You know what I mean? Like there's a whole world happening around us, and it's good to involve other people and not just talk about yourself or what you do. You know, but living in a small town has been great for that for me. I come get my dose of Nashville and come get my 2 days a week here, and then I go back. Tonight I'll be running through the streets of Birmingham with about 60 people, and we'll go run a 5K, and we'll talk about everything but the music industry, and I think that's a good thing, honestly. But I do love what I do, but yeah, you have to have a break. You have to have a break from it.
Yeah, it is. It is important. It's got to also be. I feel like this is something I talk about when I have artists and songwriters on here, and I even have to do it within what we do as a media company, as a lifestyle brand. It's important to know what's going on in the industry and what other folks are doing, but having your blinders on and just staying focused, because there are so many festivals out there now. It is bigger than it's been, despite some folks closing up shop, like Watershed not happening this year, Faster Horses, like some great long running festivals not being able to keep up anymore. But how do you kind of stay in the zone of not looking at what another company might be doing and really trying to hone in on what you guys got going on?
It really is one of the secret sauces of my career is goal setting and writing down what I want to do. I mean, I'm not that interested in I do want to know what's happening in the industry, but you have to have your own goals. You have to know where you want to go. And because there's enough out there for all of us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Live Nation and AEG and all these guys can have all the success in the world. There's still enough out there for Peachtree Entertainment.
Yeah.
We don't have to have what they have. And for some of these festivals that are going out, I think some of that's just it's a new season. There's a crossroads in festivals have a life. They have a life cycle, and I don't think it just means festivals are dying. Like I said, I believe festivals are innately part of who we are and what, and it's just in us. It's been around for thousands of years. People enjoying each other's company. It's in the Bible, it goes all the way back to the Bible of people coming outside and singing music together and enjoying each other's company. And there's no funnel cakes in the Bible, but but it evolves somewhere in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, how do we stay laser focused? It's truly just knowing what we want to accomplish. We are a goal driven company at Peachtree. Literally last week we were in New Orleans setting our 1 year, 3 year, and 5 year goals. We want to own 50 festivals by 2030.
Wow.
And we're going to have the team to do it. And all the while, AEG and Live Nation, all of our competitors are still going to be doing their goals and being successful, and we're going to do our thing too. So, I think there's something special about just knowing what you want to accomplish, building the team, to do that, and everyone coming around that idea together. I always tell all of our employees, I say, we are here to accomplish the goals of Peachtree. And Peachtree is here to help you accomplish your goals as a person. We want you to buy your houses and put your kids through college. And we want this company to change your life. Why can't that be the goal? But when we all come together and we have that in mind, and they know that this company's for them and for our employees and for raising them up and helping them achieve their goals, we're big on encouraging our employees to have their own goals. What do you want to do with your life? Where do you want to go in this company? For some people, that makes them uncomfortable. They don't want to ask, hey, do you want to run this company one day? Why not?
It's hard to ask a 25 to 30-year-old kid fresh out of Alabama that question, but it's an important one for them to figure out.
It is.
I didn't know that I wanted to be a partner in Raise Rowdy, and do what I'm doing. But yeah, it's important to know.
Ask them that question.
Yeah, what do you want to do with your life?
What do you want to do with your life? Say it out loud. What do you want to do with your life? And that for some people blows their mind. I'm one of the lucky ones, Matt, that at 15 years old, I knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be around music somehow and bringing people together. I didn't know that was a call to concert promoter or a producer or whatever. I didn't know the title, but I knew what I wanted to do. And I'd seen it with church and in my own hometown, and I just knew I wanted to be a part of bringing people together, giving them a reason to be unified, and it just happened. It just came together throughout, setting those goals, and been a lot of good times, hard times, losing everything. Lost everything several times in this business. But had the strength to build it back. We're risk takers, man. Big swings.
You have to be if you're putting on big time shows. You have to be, man.
You do.
Guarantees are high,
dude.
It's a lot, man.
I can't play pool if I don't have money on it. If you put you play $10 a game, I can play really really great 9 ball. I enjoy that. I enjoy the risk. That's why we really haven't sold out to some of the guys that's come to us over the years, because we just enjoy the entrepreneurship of what we do.
Yeah.
New ideas, taking chances, and putting it all out there. And we go all in on artists. We go all in on festivals and ideas, and it's God's been really good to us, man. It's come back several times, sevenfold. We've just seen the growth, and but we're seeing all these new faces too, and our team's being built. Man, we just landed one of the biggest marketers in live event history. Come into our company. We'll be announcing in the next couple of weeks. Just a rock star in that space, and seeing these veterans and these professionals that have done great things for a long time wanting to come join the Peachtree team is very humbling.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we've been hoping for a long time, and we're seeing it in a really big way. Alongside some of this young talent, like you said, like the Billies and the Anna Margarets and so many others, and just hired a girl from Texas who was with Louis for a long time named Candace, and just tons of talent, coming our way to help us achieve these goals.
On that back end side, and you guys have such a good team of folks on the operating side and on the staging side on site, which is more the side, like it's before the festivals. I'm working on the back end stuff with the folks you just mentioned, but like your content team of you guys have an army of folks capturing everything and showcasing that experience. You've got a great group of guys running the stage, because weather is a thing in our business, in our world. It is, and
it's not a matter of if.
No, it happens. It's gonna happen, but having those folks that are running security backstage, to the folks at the ticketing box office that are the first people parking the cars in the camping area, like it's so important.
Family.
It is.
Yeah.
It is
and
a
Courtney
family.
running everything in the back, and Mason and the 46 team with the staging, and Randy and out there just driving around causing havoc, doing his thing, and it's just a family reunion, man.
Yeah.
I for years we saw it with Rock the South, and it was just 2 weeks a year. Now it's all summer. We get to hang out with these people all year long, and building this and going to new cities. That's never had a festival before.
Yeah.
Some of these cities. There's one city, Belleville. I think it has 4,000 people in Texas. Yeah, we're going to put 30,000 people there.
Yeah.
And we're going to. I don't know what's the math on that, but we're going to grow their city pretty quick.
Yeah.
And so you're doing something that's never been done before. Some of these cities are 150 years old, and you're going to do the biggest event in the history of that city. And you're putting all these minds together, and you're figuring out how you're going to do the traffic, because obviously everybody's worried about the traffic, right?
Yeah.
And so we have a plan for that. We bring all these professionals in, and drones and all this stuff. Used to be helicopters, now it's drones, But you're going and you're doing something in this town that's never been done before. And then you sit there at the end of this thing, and all the artists came, the people came from 50 states and 8-10 countries.
Yeah.
And they camped, and they stayed in their hotels, and they stayed in hotels within a 100-mile radius. And you're sitting there with the chief of police and the mayor and the council and the economic development people, and you're like, I can't believe we just pulled this off. It rained, for a couple of hours, and we had this traffic jam, we had this thing, and all this stuff that we overcame, and we figured it out because we care about the community, we care about the people there. And when these small town people, these country boys, country girls, they put their heads together, we figure it out.
Yeah.
And it's just, I could do that every weekend. I could do it every weekend. And it's like I said, it's bigger than money. It's bigger than titles. It's bigger than anything. To see, the people come together to create something that's never been done before, that makes a positive impact on that community long after the festival. Those millions of dollars we raise in economic impact affect those communities long after we're gone.
Yeah.
And just knowing we leave that behind, not to mention the dreams of, like, how does that blow a kid's mind that, like, that Kid Rock just played my hometown, and I got 4,000 people that live here. We got this graduating class might be 50 people, but Riley Green just came, and Ella Langley just came, or whoever, Jason Aldean, the names, or go on and on and on. But I just, I see how that affected my hometown, and that's one reason we get very excited about doing that nationwide and bringing more and more.
Yeah, what do you look for when you go out and do a site check? Because you guys are doing these, and just for those that haven't been, like, it is really bringing a big time show to a small town. Like, you're doing them in fields.
You're building a big town in a small town.
Yeah, you really are. Like, what's kind of the process? Because I know it's been kind of like site check season right now as we get ready for stuff.
We have a great team that goes out in advance. People like Michael McBrayer, Mikey Wan's doing that now with him. And, there's a lot of work that goes into it, but, making sure it doesn't hold water. Yeah, that's one thing.
Yeah. Got to be careful of that.
But it's just, does the community want it?
Yeah.
Does the mayor and the political people and the citizens, do they want this to happen? Because if they don't, it really, that's a challenge, because you're going to come up on some. But if they want it there, we'll figure it out. We need 200 or 300 acres of land, hopefully flat, if preferably never been farmed. It's cattle lands. It's been beat down, because if you ever go into a place that's had corn and it rains, it's a bad day for everybody. But there are some specific things we're looking for. Are we close to a big road, big state highway or something like that, so we can get them in and get them out? But yeah, more than anything, it's just the attitude and the passion of the people there wanting this. Yeah. Saying, yeah, we want to invite people from all over the world to our small town so they can go to our barbecue restaurants and try this donut no one's ever had before, besides the locals.
Yeah.
And all the little special little things that they have to offer.
Yeah.
We put out a guide for every festival we do of, here are the things you need to go do. Even the churches. We said, if you're staying over for church, here's some ones to go to. Because we want them, and when they go back through that city, 6 months later on their way to the beach or on their way on traveling, we want to stop back in because they know that town now.
Yeah.
So, we're looking for small towns that want something like this, and then we'll figure out the rest. Really.
Yeah, tell me about, because I haven't been to Ocala, Florida before, but I know that's been kind of a mainstay on the Rock the Country circuit.
Yeah.
What makes that place so special for where this is this year 3 of it?
This is, we've been there. Yeah,
every year?
This is every year. Ocala is some of the most beautiful horse land you're going to find. I mean, they have multi-million-dollar horses there, race horses.
Wow.
It is. They're famous for that, know. And Ocala is just kind of right there in a melting pot. Just south, you got Tampa and Orlando, and then you got University of Florida right there almost on top of it, and just up to the north right, you got, Jacksonville, and then you got Tallahassee, and there's an interstate that goes right through it, and it's kind of a melting pot, honestly.
Okay.
And they've never really had festivals there. You going into Orlando and Tampa, they've had festivals, obviously, and
yeah.
But yeah, it's really easy to get there from a lot of places. But I think that's our people. When you think of the Rock the Country people, that is right in the middle of all of them. The northern panhandle of Florida. Those are some country people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a good one. It can get pretty hot there, so we try to dodge that and keep it away from the hottest months. But yeah, the city's been great to work with. They really want it. They go out of their way to help us make it happen. But yeah, it's been a good town for us.
That's awesome, man. I can't wait to check that out and go and enjoy Ocala, because what I like doing is going around in the small towns and trying the food, finding the local cigar hangout, and that's where what I'm looking to do.
You and I, hey, we're going to hit the cigar lounge.
We will.
Yeah.
We will. That sounds great. And getting to go to so many different places, like going back to Hastings, Michigan, Ashland, Kentucky, a place that I haven't been to, but I know is another recurring one on the cycle.
Man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hamburg, New York this year, which
Hamburg.
As a New York guy, I'm excited. That's a whole Western New York's a whole different world too.
It is. Yeah. We're finding there's country people everywhere.
Yeah, there really are.
No, if you're in California or New York or wherever you're going, there are people that identify with what we're talking about.
Yeah.
The Rock the Country brand is about, people that are proud to be Americans and, are pro-America. It's, we're not a politically driven festival, but, we do feel like there needed to be, we felt like there needed to be a festival for people who love being an American.
Yeah.
And love being from this country.
Yeah.
And being for it, I know that sounds crazy. You'd never think that there would need to be a festival that, promoted just enjoying being an American.
Just loving our free country.
Loving our free country. Loving your home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that really is what it's about. We try to find people that We put that message out there, and we even do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh yeah, I've the only rock the country I've been to. I went to Rome, Georgia, a few years back.
Yeah.
That's the only one that I've been to thus far. This year, obviously, I'm gonna be at all of them.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, it's just, and especially with this year, it being the 250th anniversary of this great country.
Right.
What better time to go and celebrate the red, white, and blue?
No doubt.
The men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice for us. Like, just, and to have everybody together in unison, it really is a celebration of what it is to be an American.
100%.
With country damn music.
We'll honor local veterans.
Yeah.
We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. We'll bring a pastor up and pray for that community.
Wow.
We're not ashamed to do that. And yeah, are people drinking, saying hell yeah out in the middle of the park or out in the middle of the field? Of course.
Yeah.
But will they take their cap off if a pastor gets up there and preaches?
Yeah.
Damn right they will.
Yes.
And it's special. Why not? Why can't we do that? It is who we are.
Yeah.
And we're as a festival, we're not ashamed of that. Because there's a lot of people. Some people might give you a hard time for having a pastor up there and praying, but let a tragedy happen. They'll be glad that pastor's up there. You know what I'm saying? Let a tornado go through that hometown. They'll be glad somebody's praying for that community.
Yeah.
We've not felt any resistance at all on that, but we felt like there needed to be a festival that was pro God and country, and we are. We've taken some hits in the media in the last couple months for people assuming that we're a certain way,
Yeah.
or that we're push a certain agenda.
Yeah.
But as a festival, we don't do that.
Yeah.
We can't control what artists may say.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell any of those artists what they can say.
No, it's a free country.
It's a
They
free
can believe and say what they want to say.
Of
and
course.
believe what they want to believe, and that's what this country's about.
Nor would we shut down an artist that had an opposing view.
No,
You
of
know
course
what I mean?
not.
It's artists are doing their thing. So yeah, but I feel like the heart of the festival will live on, and people will understand what we're doing, what we're about, and but we're very proud of it. We're very proud of the impact that it's making in the stage that it's giving artists, and in the outlet that it's giving fans.
Yeah.
It's been really great to be a part of, and it's something we're super proud of.
Yeah, and you talk about us being partners and being family, which we really appreciate, and we feel the same way towards you and the whole team over at Peachtree. This year with the fan zone and that experience being added, and getting to have the Raised Rowdy stage,
buddy.
it's such an honor
Wow.
for us and the guys and girls that are on that stage too. I mean, one of them that blows my mind is like a guy like John Langston
Totally.
playing outside of Savannah, Georgia,
Right.
playing down there in Bloomingdale that's gonna be such a cool moment. And that's a guy that we've gotten to watch for years. It's one of the staples when you think of like artists out of the great state of Georgia. But then you get to see baby acts like Connor Hicks is one that's playing a bunch of them. Callie Prince, Emmy Moyen, Paxton P. There's so many young artists
Deep.
that we get to take what we're doing here in Nashville and bring it to the folks as they're coming in the building, and the activities. Talk about that fan zone and adding that aspect for this year.
It was a no-brainer. We when we first had our meeting about this year, it was number one, we got to get Raised Rowdy there and bring that culture of raising up the next generation to all of our festivals. It was not even a debate. We knew, if we could get you guys to be willing to do it, and obviously it's right in line with what you guys are about as well. I think it's special. It's once again, I think that's where Raised Rowdy and Peachtree really are equally yoked, as they say in the Bible. We see the world the same way, is that we want to invest in young bands, because these guys are going to kill it, and we're going to watch them graduate from that stage to the other stage.
Yeah.
And so we're even we're working on an idea now to do some type of battle of the bands and get some discover some new talent to go out on that thing for next year. And yeah, it's exciting, man. I think and to partner with Raised Rowdy on it, it makes it even more special.
Well, man,
You guys have helped us curate that thing,
Yeah.
And you guys have, like, you just spit out all these young names that are coming
man.
up. It's just
we
nice
get to
deal.
see it, and we want them to have opportunities, not just here in Nashville, but touring and growing, because at the end of the day, the touring way is that's how artists make money nowadays with the way streaming is. People aren't going to Walmart or Target and buying CDs like they used to. They're going and they're buying tickets to shows, and they're buying merchandise.
100%.
And putting on shows for artists is a huge thing, and it's hard to come by at the club level right now too,
It is.
and you guys still have your honey holes with that, like thinking about the small college towns in the Southeast.
Man, there's nothing better than seeing a new and exploding act in a college town.
Yeah.
Seeing Zach Bryan open for Co Wetzel a few years ago at the Auburn Rodeo, and he got on stage. I think he sung 15 songs, and those college kids knew every word.
Yeah.
And most of the industry people that were there were like, "Oh my gosh, I thought they only knew Head South and this couple other songs, something in the orange."
And
No,
then,
they knew every song.
And then when he came back and headlined, that Auburn Rodeo was one of the craziest shows that I've ever been to.
Unbelievable.
Shane. That was wild.
It'll go down as one of the special moments of my life for sure. Just seeing him be an opener. And I think it was the next year.
Yeah.
The very next
Was
year.
next spring.
He came and and blew out. I feel like we had bigger numbers than even Morgan's year.
I think it was like
It was
30, right?
Well, we expanded the venue.
Yes, yeah.
Morgan could have sold 100 as well.
Pushed everything back a little bit.
It would push it all back and put as many people in there as we possibly could, and once again probably could have sold 100,000 tickets.
I remember meeting a guy that was I think he was from like Denmark or somewhere out that way, and he said that this was the cheapest ticket. That was the most affordable ticket to see Zach Bryan that year. So people from all over the world came to Opelika, Alabama, to the Auburn Rodeo to see Zach Bryan.
Unbelievable.
Which again, it's just the power of live events, and like you said, to see him opening for Co with 15 songs and watching that fire go, and then just an explosion of.
And then you played Rock the South that year.
Yeah, what a show that was! I was there for that too.
Zach came out to my lake house the night before. He was just looking for something to do. I was talking to his manager. He said, "Yeah, they're just looking for somewhere to go." I said, "Well, they just tell them to come to my lake house." Zach Bryan jumped off a rock on our lake. So my neighbor has been on that lake for 50 years. And for 50 years, he's never seen anyone jump off this rock. Zach Bryan walks out there, throws his cap off, throws his filterless cigarettes down, and jumped off that rock like it wasn't even, there. And the neighbors are like, "Oh my gosh, is he okay?" They didn't realize the guy had been in the Navy, all those years. But it was just one of the most special weekends of my life, seeing him go from a very affordable opening artist, to now one of the big headliners in our industry in literally no time.
Yeah.
And be able to have him at our shows in our small towns, the Opelikas, the Colemans, and just seeing, the impact. Zach Bryan doesn't realize it probably. He comes to Coleman, Alabama, and because of that show, they probably built a park in the middle of a neighborhood that needed something like that to revitalize the community, and it's making an impact even beyond today. That is the beauty of live events and making these economic impacts. I preach that all the time. It's there again because I've lived in a community that's had that impact made. Not to mention the memories we made by having Zach at that moment of his career in Coleman, Alabama. But yeah, having the Raise Rowdy stage in the fan zone. We're going to year after year, we're going to believe, can you believe they played the Raise Rowdy stage and now they're doing stadium tours? There's an artist on that stage this year that we'll probably be able to say that about in a few years.
Yeah.
And that's fun. And that's where the passion comes from, seeing those dreams come true.
That's awesome, man. Well, I appreciate all the opportunities that you've given us. I appreciate your friendship and the family that you guys extending your arms out to us. And we're always here for you. And I can't wait to smoke a lot of cigars this year.
Too many, probably.
We're going to be smoking up so many cigars this year, Shane. And the first one together being down in Opelika here at the Auburn Rodeo.
Coming up soon.
Which that lineup is Treaty Oak, Muscadine, Caitlin Butts, Colton Bolin, the Bends. Like, that's a great lineup.
It's a great lineup. Yeah, the college kids are really fired up about it, and even some older college kids, are coming to that thing. But yeah, Auburn Rodeo is special. If you've never been, I've always said that Auburn Rodeo and Chili Fest, that Texas A&M has Chili Fest and Auburn Rodeo and then Calf Fry over at Oklahoma State.
Yep.
Those are some of the great college events in America.
Yep.
Auburn Rodeo is right there with them. Auburn Rodeo every single year, ACM is up for ACM Rodeo of the Year award. Especially since Morgan came.
Yeah.
I think 3 or 4 years in a row we've been nominated.
Wow.
But it is unlike anything you've ever experienced. Chili Fest, same way out at A&M. I give those guys a plug. We're not even involved in that, but I give them the props. What a beautiful event they have. But yeah, Auburn Rodeo is special, and Opelika in downtown Auburn is one of the coolest, charming southern towns you will ever go to in your life. Go to Toomer's Corner. I go to Acre, some of the best restaurants. The food scene in that city is incredible. Great hotels.
It's awesome, man.
Sky Bar.
I love hanging out in Auburn, and we're taking a new group of folks down to sell merch for us this year. And I'm like, we're gonna take you to Moe's Barbecue. We're gonna get that Alabama in you, and then if you guys are feeling up for it, we'll pop in. We'll pop in the Sky Bar. Me and Nikki T will chaperone for a little bit, and then we'll get out of there and let you kids have fun.
Exactly. Yeah, get out early, about 2 a.m., something like that. Because they just keep going there. But no, it's been, all these college towns are really special.
Yeah.
It's a big investment from Peachtree is we are going to these colleges and bringing them events once again. We've been doing concerts in the arenas in some of these colleges. Auburn, we just had Parker McCollum and Riley Green, sold out in the shows, and these colleges making more NIL money so they can put the players on the field.
Yeah, that's a whole other ball game too, and even the football stadiums are another aspect too.
Big time. Yeah. So that's, in the future, you'll see more and more Peachtree shows at these universities. It's a huge priority for us, and the colleges are lining up. They want the shows there. For years and years, these big colleges had the shows. They had the big artists, and after a while, some of these cities and Live Nation, different people started building these other venues, and they quit going to the colleges. But there's a beautiful captive audience at these colleges, Ole Miss and Mississippi State and Alabama and Auburn and so many others. So we're excited to be dreaming with these universities about bringing big shows to the colleges once again.
That's awesome. I can't wait to be tailgating outside of Peachtree Stadium show.
Come on.
Smoking a cigar, taking in the ambiance of the kids tailgating, and then going in and hearing live music the way it's intended and on a large grand scale. It's going to be incredible.
Manifest that, man. It's coming.
I know it is. If you're saying it's coming, Shane. I know if you and Nathan and the team say it's happening, y'all get it done. That's what Peachtree does. You guys have a vision, and you do whatever you got to do to make it happen.
Well, thank you for saying that.
And as a concert goer, as somebody in the industry, I appreciate what you guys do so much, man.
The partnership with you guys has been really special, man. Yeah, you guys are family to us, and I think we're just seeing a fraction of where we're both going.
Just getting started
together. Just getting started.
Getting started, Shane. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. Good luck on your run through Birmingham this evening. And I admire you in so many ways, but running is now one where I'm like, I can't do that. I can't do that distance run.
It's mostly mental, man.
It's mental.
It's mostly mental, for sure. Yeah. I wouldn't recommend starting running in your 40s, but it's definitely been great. But no, you can do it.
Yeah, okay.
You're in better shape than you think.
I'll have to run around some of these. We'll do some laps around some of these rock the country grounds.
So maybe one less cigar.
One less cigar,
and we can run.
Yeah, one less cigar, and we can run for sure. Well, y'all be sure to get out to a Peachtree show this year. We're gonna be at all of them. So come and hang out at the merch table. The lineups are all insane. The Auburn Rodeo, Rock the Country, Rock the South, Tailgate and Tall Boys, and then some other ones that aren't even announced yet that'll be coming later this year. Some real big
new college towns. You're about to hear of a big one, a legendary college that's never had a big festival.
Yeah,
we're about to be launching one.
I think we have that on our calendar, so I believe it's in August, and we're looking forward to that. We'll talk about that off the mic, but shout out to my man Shane Quick for hanging out. Y'all be sure to look up what Peachtree Entertainment does. Seriously, innovators and big people in the world of live music and events, and big time and in a small town, like Brooks and Dunn likes to say. That's what it's all about, and bringing a lot to the community. Shout out to our friends from Surfside. No bubbles, no troubles. Go and check them out. And for more on us, visit RaiseYourAudi.com. For my man Shane Quick, I'm Matt Burrill. This has been Outside the Round.
I ain't never been the kind for staying one place for too long. I ain't never been the best at saying I love you to a girl I love. Only got a couple tricks on my sleeve. They usually just make them leave. So if you know me, if you really know me, you know I'm just a two